Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can already see that I have started a series where I guide the BA and MA students of English literature so that they can score good marks like me, and also I share my answers so that it becomes easier for you to understand what pattern of writing you should move forward with so that you can score good marks. Also, I have posted many videos regarding the UGC net examination about how you can make notes, how you can score well, as I have already cracked the exam for assistant professor in only my second attempt. So yeah, you can also go and check those videos. So without wasting much time, let's begin today's video. As I have already shared my 10 marks answer or 500 words answer. Today I am going to share with you guys how you can write the 250 marks answer. Okay, so the photo of the answer is on screen for you guys, and I will see it from here. So let's begin with the answer. So the question that I have taken here is, as a sample for you guys, is what kind of a relationship is depicted between father and daughter in the poem Daddy by Sylvia Plath. So this is a very common poem that we often read in our bachelor's and master's days. Okay, so this question we have to answer for 5 marks. Okay, as I have mentioned in my earlier videos, if you have not seen it, I will repeat it again, but please do see them, as it will help you in framing your answers. But I will repeat that for you again. That is, the beginning or the introduction, according to me, should be a general one. It should not begin abruptly with the question, but it should be a general one, and you should move slowly towards the question. Okay, so slowly towards what is asked in the question. So here I have begun the answer with the line: the English literature has different types of writings that include the dramas, novels, short stories, etc. One of the kinds of writings that is assumed as one of the oldest forms of writings is the poetry. So poetry is oldest form of writing, all of us know. Even the epics have been written in the verse form. The poetry too developed with changing times, and around 1960s it took the form of confessional poetry. Sylvia Plath is one of the prominent names associated with confessional poetry, as the critic Alvarez in Risky Business wrote that Plath deliberately used the details of her everyday life as raw material for her art. So here we have written a very general beginning, then we have slowly moved towards the confessional poetry, then towards Plath, and we have cited a critic. Also, regarding all these quotations, how you can write it, where you can find these quotations, I have made a video about this as well on my channel, which is a part of this BAMS series. Please go and check it so that it helps you to incorporate quotations in your answers. Okay, so this is a critic. Okay, this quotation is by a critic. Okay, then let's move into the second paragraph, which is obviously author's introduction. So, Sylvia Plath was an American poet and novelist. She is one of the prominent names in American canon of writing and remains one of the most widely read and taught poets across the world. Most of her work, especially her poetry collection such as Ariel and the Colossus and other poems, was published posthumously, and her tormenting life becomes evident in her poetry, as she writes in the poem Tulips that the tulips are too red in the first place, they hurt me. So, as you can see here, when I have written the author's introduction, the introduction is not very moved away from the question. Okay, so this is a very question centric introduction of author. The introduction of author does not contain anything and everything that we know about Plath. No, this is a very question centric introduction. Okay, so keep this in mind. Whenever you are introducing the author, you cannot write everything that you know about the author. No, you have to be very question specific in this place. Okay, so the third paragraph we will directly jump into the answer, because this is only a 250 word answer. You cannot put summaries and everything as we have done in the case of 10 marks answer. Okay, so the third paragraph here begins with the line, the relationship between Plath and her father was not a loving one like any normal father and daughter. The poems of Plath highlight the feeling of suffocation that she often feels at the mere mention of her father. It becomes evident as she writes that being around her father felt like living in a black shoe in which she lived like a foot. She often associates her father with black color, and it seems that even after his death, his haunting presence remains a constant in her life. So here we can see that Plath and her father did not have a very happy relationship, or rather, it was a very tormenting one and haunting one for Plath. So we have emphasized on that part in this paragraph. Okay, in the fourth paragraph, we will see how her father, despite of being absent after his death from Plath's life, he still continues to be a part of her life, or we can say that Plath assumes him, even if he's not there. Plath assumes him like a dark shadow in the form of her husband, Ted Hughes, who tormented her equally. Okay, so father is generally believed to be one of the major forces of support for her daughter, but in Plath's case, it seems as if her father has turned into a curse for her. Later, when Plath finds herself trapped in an almost soul-wrenching marriage with Ted Hughes, it seems to her as if her father is once again back into her life to torment her. That is why she writes that her husband introduced himself to her, saying he was the incarnation of her father, and that he drank her blood for a year, and to be precise, 7 years. So as I have already told you, here also we have focused on the father and daughter relationship, but the angle of looking at it changes. Okay, so this is our fourth paragraph, and fifth paragraph obviously has to be our conclusion. So yeah, let's see the conclusion. This tormenting life made her attempt suicide multiple times, but sadly she came out safe. That is why she writes in Lady Lazarus that, like the cat, I have 9 times to die. The patriarchal forces have always been a poisonous element in life of Plath, but she channelizes this poison to produce the masterpieces in the form of poetry that continues to be read and appreciated widely till today. Finman in the work Rhyme, Reason, and Depression calls Plath the blighted symbol of genius. Thus, this is how the relationship between father and daughter is reflected in Plath's Daddy, a work that doesn't only highlight their traumatic relationship, but it also makes evident how it anchored her entire life and even played a major role in shaping her poetry. So obviously I have made error here, but I have not changed this answer because it is very human to make errors. Also, this is how I have framed my conclusion. You can see that the conclusion ends with the line that this is how the relationship is reflected by the poet between the father and daughter. Also, that this shapes, this anchors on her life. This traumatic equation between the father daughter anchors her life throughout. It continues throughout her life, and this shapes her poetry. So this is how I wrote my answers during my master's days. If you find me fumbling, please excuse that a bit, because I am new to this platform, so obviously camera consciousness and all, so yeah, this is how I wrote my answers during my master's days, and that helped me, even my bachelor's days, and that helped me score so well. So I hope this helps you. If it helps you, please do subscribe my channel, share it with your friends, and leave a comment that appreciates, that motivates me. And yeah, I would see it as an appreciation, and I would feel motivated to make more such videos. Also, like the video if you like the content. So thank you.